Hello, hello, and welcome to this episode of Ambush on Air. I'm your host, Sam Bush, and as always, bringing you topical content all about sales, marketing, partnerships in the Microsoft space, but really in all the channel spaces that we work in collectively as a crew for all the listeners here. So I have a really exciting one today that has been one I've been trying to get on the books for a minute, but through the seasons of life that I've been having lately, it has been delayed. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to my friend, Nikki. So Nikki, go ahead and do a little intro. Who are you? What are you up to?
Sure. Hi, Sam. First of all, I want to say I'm really excited to be on this. I was
Me
like
too.
secretly hoping, at times I was like, maybe someday Sam will ask me to come on her podcast because I'm such a fan of yours.
Thank you.
I think you're a great person, just so fantastic at what you do.
Right back at you.
I'm just so excited.
Thank you.
And it kind of worked out. I was chuckling a little bit when you were talking about like the seasons of life and how we had to keep scheduling this, because I never wanted to say to you like, oh no, I'm good to push this out another week, because I had a lot of stuff going on too,
Okay,
so
good.
like anytime when we had to move things, it was just like, why are we trying to do stuff during the holidays?
Exactly. I'm like, the holidays, it's usually when like work isn't heavy, but we're busy. We're still
Yeah,
really busy and we're
busy.
mentally busy.
Yeah, but at the same time too, I think you and I are both like passionate people who like
Mhm.
when we see stuff, we're like, oh, I don't want to wait just because it's Christmas.
Exactly.
Get on this,
Yeah.
so but we found the time and I'm just super excited. So, maybe I'll talk a little bit too about like, because we've only known each other for maybe a couple of years now. I was newer to the Microsoft channel. I was working at a company called Nuvei who does payment processing. Kind of the Microsoft channel was definitely newer for me. Right. I've spent many, many years in the Sage channel, then moved over to the Acumatica space,
Love
and
Acumatica.
was doing consulting there and doing development, custom programming work, things like that, all different
Mhm.
kinds of stuff. In my Sage 100 days, I was doing consulting, but also did product management and did ISV work.
You've done it all.
It's kind of like, well, I kind of like joke around about it and say like I get around a bit,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
been around, like I've dabbled a little bit all over the place. I had a mentor like many, many years ago, because I used to say like, I feel like a jack of all trades, like master of none. Like I gotta, pick a lane and like
Yeah.
focus on that one lane, because that's what we get told, right? Like, oh, you got to focus on a channel, or you got to focus on this, or you got to do this, you got to
We
do that.
do.
And that is hammered into us. And I had a mentor of mine a long time ago, Phil Worley from the Sage Channel. Like he said to me, like, being a jack of all trades can be your superpower.
100%.
Don't have to look for the one superpower. Like your superpower can be that you can look at all the things,
Yeah.
So, but that's also incredibly hard to do in a very large space where there are so many opportunities, but you do have to pick that very specific
Exactly.
lane.
Yeah. I've
So,
definitely been in that place before, which I'm doing a podcast with my friend Kate Coffee Bacon on Coffee Talk about this, and I'm going to get pretty vulnerable about it.
love.
But I've been, right? She's a big fan, one of my best friends. But I, for the last like 3.5 years of my career, have been pigeoned into partner marketing. But really, I'm a jack of all trades marketer. I've done it all. I like to do it all. I
Mhm.
like to have my hand in kind of the whole thing. But in certain sizes of business, you don't really get that opportunity. And it's hard when you're early in your career because you're like, I'll just do what I'm told because I'm learning. But as you get more comfortable in your skill set and what you're really focused on, you figure out like it's okay to be good at a lot of things. It's okay to be able to flex your muscles on multiple different avenues at work.
Right, right. And I think, some of it too, and I'm just going to be completely frank, and I know some people like to scoff or roll their eyes about it, but, I do think being a woman in the tech space too, and especially, I'm a bit more on like the technical product side, and it's like, so you kind of get put into these different roles of like, well, let's be honest, the boys program a little bit, like the boys have a certain way of doing it, like
So
those
you're
things,
in customer success.
or that's why you're a product manager,
Exactly.
and we're not going to have you necessarily be the chief engineer
Yeah.
or the other thing. That's why you'll just do this.
Hmm.
and you'll be the one that gets up and talks about it and demos it or does the pre-sales stuff to have the conversations with the people because yeah, sure, some of the more technical engineer people don't have that skill set,
Yep.
right? So it's not all a woman thing, right? Some of it is
Totally.
about being somebody who can handle a lot of different things. But what I found as kind of like I got older is like, that's just not enough for me. Like as much as like I just don't want to be forced into a single lane of like, this is what you have to do. And I kind of started looking at, like what's the channel doing right now? And, if I'm not just focusing on payments, then
Hmm.
let me look at what's going on in the channel.
Yeah.
Okay. No matter what I look at across the channel, I'm going to be forced to pick a lane
Yep.
and to do that thing every single day.
I know.
I'm a kid of like, I'm 44. Like, I grew up in the 80s. I'm sure I have undiagnosed ADHD and autism. Like, you can't tell me to just like sit there
And
and
do one
like
thing all day long.
just like regurgitate the same
Yep.
old sales script every day for the product that isn't being changed or the
Like,
sales process or the whatever it is, right, of anything. Like, and I mean, I think back even to like my bosses that I had of like back my first professional job of like that's what any boss has always ever said to me is like, I'm just worried you're gonna get bored. Like,
that's the story of my life. And then I end up saying to my boss, like, I am bored.
yeah.
I'm doing this one thing with 10 partners over and over, and I don't want to do that anymore because I'm bored. I need other things to flex my brain. Okay, so you started your own business. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I started my own business and I talked a bit about it on some of the blog posts that I've had out there,
Yeah,
Medium, and I've shared them on LinkedIn and stuff. I think when people first read some of the things that I wrote,
yeah.
I think there were a lot of different reactions like, what is she talking about? Like, how is she going to do
Okay.
it? Because
So let me pause real quick. So, what happened and what was my triggering event to reach out to you is I think it was on Facebook that I saw it, which I like rarely get on, but somebody messaged me and was like, you need to have her on your podcast immediately. And I was like, what? Like, give me the thing. So, the first article that you put out on Medium is called I Didn't Leave Tech. I Left a System That Forgot Why It Exists. And like just the title of that, I was like, now I need to know. And then you put out these articles that are raw and honest. I mean, a beautiful writing style, by the way. That's how I write as well. Couple bangers, a little bit of a description. So kudos to you. But yeah, tell us a little bit about kind of how that was received.
I mean, I would say mainly, first of all, something that I've struggled with most of my life is like finding my voice. And I think a lot of us struggle with that and like just being able to say the things.
Yeah.
And like the responses that I got from people, like, and it's kind of like, I don't know. I feel like I knew what questions you were going to ask me, but like now that you're asking me this, I feel like I'm going to get a little bit emotional. I'm going to
It's
try
okay.
not to.
It's
But
okay.
so many people like reached out to me being like, genuinely just like heartfelt of being like, thank you for saying the stuff that I couldn't say.
Yeah,
And like so many people were like, that's so brave of you, Nicole. And I'm
it
like,
is.
I don't know. Part of me just, I don't know if it was like bravery or like insanity or whatever.
You're like, one day I woke up and went insane and said what I really think.
It was just kind of like, why does it matter anymore? Like, especially because I've kind of come from this background where I've been on the ISV side of things. I've been on the VAR side of things. There are so many VARs, consultants, ISVs that I respect and
Same.
wouldn't ever want to say anything to offend, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you were continually thinking about not offending anybody in any of the software channels when you've worked in Sage, Microsoft, and
Acumatica, like,
Acumatica, like, what can I say? Guess what?
wait,
There's not much that I can say the honest truth about, and not probably offend somebody somewhere or something,
Yeah.
quite honestly, like between me and you and whoever else is listening, right?
Yeah.
I've spent a lot of time saying this stuff for a lot of years, and everybody acts like they don't want to hear it.
They don't. They don't want to hear it until they're behind a closed door and they can message you on LinkedIn and be like, "Oh, thank God you said it. I've been thinking it for years." Like,
Right. But I mean, like,
you had the courage to go say it.
I've always been the person who has had the courage to say these things to the bosses. Right. And I mean, there's just people, and I'm not, and
I
people
get
just
it.
have a hard time getting out of their own way. Right.
Yes.
Like, we're so just like in this system of like, yeah, but I got to worry about my thing right here.
Mhm.
But when you kind of look at the end result of what's happening with some of the clients and
Yeah.
some of the things going on, and some of the channels where it's like the publishers are pushing these VARs and ISVs harder and harder. I mean, and I think, like, if there were any people or any reactions that were like, oh, is she saying something about me? It's like, maybe you should look at that. Or maybe too, just like understand that, like, I'm just saying the system's kind of jacked.
Broken.
Yeah, it's a little bit broken. And I
Yeah.
think that consumers and businesses are starting to get smarter and smarter too. Like, I think that we're just kind of like hitting a point where you can't just have, like, I don't know, a publisher say, "Hey, we have this agreement with this person, with this ISV," and that ISV should know that just because that publisher has that agreement with you doesn't necessarily mean it's going to give you any guarantee in the channel,
Exactly.
anything else, or and the people buying, consuming these products that we're selling, they know that too. They
Yeah.
know that, like, just because big
We have this signed piece of
corporations
paper.
shake hands and have a partnership, that
Mhm.
doesn't drill down to the consumer at the end of the day.
Exactly.
It's funny because, like, Tuesday, this is what I do in my spare time. I catch up on episodes of Ambush on Air,
Thank
but I
you.
was watching. I was.
You were my one listen this week. No, I'm just kidding. Luckily, I get more than that. Thank God.
It's really funny because I was like, Sam has an episode with Kate, and like there wasn't one before, and then
Isn't that
like
weird?
I started listening to it, and it's like what you said at the beginning. I'm like, but it's just, you kind of like look at what's going on in the channel, and you listen to these different stories, and a lot of it is about,
It's okay. We're getting a phone call live. And this is what we love about Ambush on Air is we just let it rock. This
you
is
gotta
real
love
life.
being on a Mac where everything's synced to every device, but
Mhm.
um I believe in. I was watching a bunch of different episodes of things, but I believe in that episode, Kate, like you were talking about, you have to get back to the people
The
and
people.
communicating with the people and getting the boots on the ground and the community of it, right?
Mhm.
Same thing, not just the community of what we do with each other in the channel, but also like
With our customers.
our customers, and like really talking to them and listening to them, because I gotta tell you, like, a lot of people in these channels kind of act like a like the clients and the people buying the software are like in the way of money,
Yeah.
right? Like, they're just such a pain in the ass. Why do I have to deal with these
Oh my
people
gosh, yeah.
to get to the subscription that this business is gonna give me for my KPI this quarter?
Yeah. Yeah. I think like as I was reading this, I was thinking about a company I worked at a couple of years ago called Flowcast. Worked there for about 3 years. They, I think, do what we're talking about the best that I've seen firsthand, which is, I mean, all of their frontline employees are former accountants
Mhm.
selling to accountants. So they're like, we know your problem pain and we feel it for you and with you. And that happens from the sales cycle all the way through like customer life cycle. And there's never a point where you're not talking physically to an accountant. In most cases, there's a couple that are not, but you get it. Um,
Right.
but they figured out how to talk to the customer pain with the same like language, mindset, feel. Like, I used to do this too, and here's how this could be better for you.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
solve the problem by also admitting they know the problem exists. And then I've been in other orgs where you've got a salesperson who's just looking at a quota, trying to get the customer to close, even if it's not the best fit for the customer. But they're like, we got to get one more deal in this quarter. So we can do 80% of what they need. Let's just sell it to them.
Yeah,
Right. And
right.
even like I've talked to consultants that
I
are
was
like,
going through.
I get these projects that are not even remotely possible. And it's
Yeah.
like the disconnect in the way we're running the business top down is the problem.
Well, and not only that, what's even worse is after the software is sold and implemented.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And then it's like, bye, see ya.
It's like just keep your mouth shut and keep paying your subscription.
Exactly. Keep doing the same
Quiet
clickety
customer is
clack.
a good customer, you know?
Yes, yes. We like silent customers.
And I
No,
think,
we don't.
like, and what sort of made me sad when I was sort of just like thinking about like what's next, like where,
Mhm.
do I really go independent? It's like, like that's the only option is to really go independent. And like when I wrote about it and I wrote about, working with people on their processes first and like let's talk about your business processes first before we even talk about what software you need.
Yeah,
Like let's figure out what's going on and then figure out what tools you need.
exactly.
Like we're not these like servants of the tools. Like they are things that we have available at our disposal.
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
So it's like I wanted to just put more of the focus back on that first, but also give myself avenue because I do like to do things like coding and things like that.
Mhm.
I can offer services. I can offer software support agreements or
Yeah,
independent contracts from a services standpoint, but I can also just create the stuff I want to create.
which
I
is
can
so
build
cool.
the app.
Yeah.
I will build the apps myself and fund those apps myself that I've been wanting as a consultant, or as
Yeah.
a product manager that wasn't able to,
Mhm.
like get the approval on the thing or the
Yep.
whatever it was, right? Because we all have budgets, we all have constraints, we all have, when we work in that machine, you have
Yeah.
those boxes you have to be in. And
Yeah.
now I don't,
I love that. I love
you
that.
know.
Okay, so was there I read it in the blog, but
So
I
sure.
wanna call it out. Was there like a today's the day I'm leaving, I'm leaving the full-time job, or was it like a series of events or a mental shift? Really, how did this come to be that you went off on your own? It's a hard question.
Yeah, I mean, I think it had been coming for quite some time. There was a period of time way, way back when I had worked independently for about like a year.
Mhm.
But back then, I had a small child at the time,
Yep.
and I only knew Sage 100,
Yeah.
and I worked independently,
Yeah.
and I thought, like, my son's older now, it was kind of different, through that chunk in
Totally.
between. Now that he's older and he's an adult, I'm like, I know 3 product lines now.
Yep. Yep.
Like,
You got more value to offer.
that's not something a lot of people can even say, quite frankly, and I've worked on those products from both, like, a consulting standpoint, and anybody that knows me, I'm like, I have to learn everything about a thing, so
Yep.
I know every I try to deep dive and do as much as I can? So, it's like, why not? Like,
Yeah.
why if not now, when,
When my
right?
why
So
not tattoo.
that's nice. You're, like, so, like, just soul sisters or, like,
We
just
are. We really are. When you posted the junk journal thing, I was like, I've been junk journaling since I was a teenager. I live for it.
I feel like anytime, like, you or I post something, like, random, we're like, "Oh my god, me too."
Like we have the same sort of ADHD. I love it. I love it.
So that was part of it. So I'd had that sort of idea in the back of my mind of, like, at some point, I'm gonna do this when the time is right, and I feel like I can just, like, take a risk. Part of it too was, like, things seemed like, I was working at Nuvei, things
Mhm.
were, just kept I was progressing at Nuvei too, and
Mhm.
more and more was kind of coming my way, and it was like, "Okay, but, like, it's not fair for me to be like, 'Yeah, I'm in this,' when it's not where my heart was at."
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's like, "Okay, but I'm never anybody who like does anything halfway either. So it's like I can't be there, it's just it was
How do
like
you fragment yourself to
yeah,
stay
and
in a space that you're like, "This isn't enough for me, but I'm doing great at it?"
right. And it was a couple of months before Community Summit.
Okay.
And but Community Summit plus after Community Summit, then it would have been another thing and it would have been another thing. And
Exactly.
you know how the conference schedules work and how travel schedules and meeting schedules and everything
Yep.
else work. And so um even though it was probably like I probably could have been a little bit better prepared like for going out on my own, I was just kind of like I don't want to commit to this next 6 months of travel.
Yeah, because you
Like
almost have to.
these things like presented in front of you of like, okay, you're gonna go here on this date. That I feel like I'm Taylor Swift talking about the Taylor Swift tour document,
But it
like
kind of is.
but like when you find out, like, here's your schedule, like this is what your life's gonna look
And
like.
then you feel committed to it, so then you're like, "I can't leave because I already committed to it."
It's like, but like in a couple of months, you might have to go to Europe. And it's like, oh,
Exactly.
guys, like I can't tell you, like, no, I don't know if I wanna be here. And
Exactly.
I'm just not a person who can like have those conversations and like BS my way and be like, yeah, sure, we'll book those flights and then do it. It's like, no, if
Yeah,
I can leave with enough time before Community Summit that, they could still have staff and and get out in front of
exactly.
it and take care of it, so part of me felt, bad that it was like shortly before, that time. But at the same time, too, it's like knowing what that schedule was going to be and or what it could even potentially be. It was just like,
It's a lot.
I'm not in it.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
isn't my long-term goal.
yeah, yeah.
So,
I love that. I love that.
it was more about just like, yeah, like looking at that. And but the funny thing is, right, is then, I took a couple of months off.
Mhm.
I spent that saying I took a couple of months off though is like weird
Did you really?
because it's like art projects, building an app, like travel, it's like I am going to do all the things. I didn't get a lot of vacation, I didn't take a lot of time off
Yeah,
the past few years. So I was like, I want to, take a short vacation. My son and I went to Florida, had a
no fun.
fantastic time.
Yeah.
But I've been doing like a ton of learning and I
Mhm.
feel like, oh my God, like things that being in a 9 to 5 of no, I don't really have time to really get into that. I'm just gonna use this to the extent of like getting done what I have to get done to get through like when
Yeah.
you that space opened up to like just
Be
deep
curious.
dive in like AI programming and I've been doing technical things for years, but always in this sense of like jack of all trade and like like I still always have to like call a friend when I can't figure out how to push my code to GitHub or whatever,
Exactly.
like stupid things, right?
Yeah.
But like now that I had the 2 months, it's like all the things that I felt like I had little disconnected, like I feel like I'm connecting dots in my brain, and
Yeah.
I'm like there's so much more that I can do just being an independent.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a struggle I go through all the time. I have some news coming up that I can't talk about yet.
Hmm.
But I like the freedom of being independent, but I also need a little bit of structure.
Yeah.
I need the community that comes from working with people. I find like as a marketing consultant, you might meet with your client once a week and then the rest of the week, like say you have 5 clients like I have, like I meet with 5 meetings a week and that's it. And then I'm like
Yeah.
and then I do my work
You need,
in
like,
its style.
fuel. You need, like yeah.
Exactly, and I'm like, "This isn't fueling my soul on the
Mhm.
community side that I need." And I'm
Right.
still traveling and getting some of that, but I'm not getting the daily commune of, like, in the weeds, which I don't know if that's the same for you or if on your projects you're spending more time with clients.
I would say that, like, I have a very handful of very small clients that don't ask me for a lot of things right now.
Yeah,
I would say I'm mainly focusing on the app, and that does become at times a little bit difficult to because it's like I don't necessarily know if like sometimes I'm like, am I ready to show this to this kind
Mm,
of, like I'm still building and
yeah.
like I'm also like I'm super proud of what I've done. I think it's really freaking awesome. But then
Yeah.
I'm like, but what if it's not? You know?
Man, the back of your
Always
brain.
okay, like what I like things to be a certain way. I like things to be good. I like things to be easy. I like things to be fun. There's
Yes.
a lot of expectations that I have for a piece of software.
Yeah.
But I have so many people and I've
Good.
always really made an effort to keep in touch with so many people.
Mhm.
Back a few years ago, I worked for a VAR in the Acumatica stage channels, DSD. Like
Mhm.
I still reach out to people at DSD all the time, and like, hey, can you give me your opinion on this? Like, hey,
Yeah.
like I have tried. I hope, I think, I've always left clean, happy, non burnt bridges
Good.
everywhere, you know?
Yeah.
And a lot of my friends are independent consultants.
That's what I was just gonna
I
ask. I feel like that really helps.
I know a lot of it's silly, but it's like they're my inspiration.
Totally.
I mean, when going back to you said like what was like the response after I posted some of those articles, it's funny
Mhm.
because I had two people reach out to me who I hadn't talked to in quite some time, which that was also like the best thing is like not just like the new people, like random people who I didn't even know
Yeah.
reaching out to me being like, I just want to talk to you because your article inspired me. Like it was wild, some of the reactions,
I love it.
but it was also just like people I hadn't talked to in the longest time who like John Hoyt and James Ganlin, two fantastic consultants in the sage space. Like,
Awesome.
like John sent me a message and he's like, the stuff you talk about is like what Jane and I have been doing for all these years. And I'm like, no, I know. I'm like, I'm
And you're
not
like,
saying
"That's the
anything
vibe."
crazy
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
I learned from you guys, like totally. And he was saying too, like I loved it, like all positive things, but it's just like that was the funniest thing to me was like
Yeah.
people being like, hey, like, like there's a lot of independent consultants out there who have been doing it for a long time
Yeah.
too,
Yeah.
who have great careers doing it. And
Exactly.
there's like, especially like Tim Rodman. And don't know if you're familiar with Tim Rodman,
Of course I
but
am. I had
oh,
lunch with him about a month ago. He he's
sorry,
local to
like
me.
I'm I'm such a nerd about this stuff. Like I get
So is he. It's the best.
like still, even though I know Tim, I'm like Tim inspires me. Like,
Yeah.
like those are the people, Darcy Borio, like there are people
Yes.
in this industry who stand out on their own, who speak up, who have voices, who do their own thing. And like mine might be kind of different because I do think like you have a lot of consultants, you have a lot of marketers, the
Yes.
independent marketers out there,
There
right?
are, but there are not that many that are like me,
No, there aren't as many that are quite like you.
which is hard. That's why, like, I really wanted to be good with being an independent, and it's too lonely for me. Too
Yeah,
lonely. I'm like, I have a couple of like, I have tons of marketing peers and friends and what have you, but what
yeah,
I really need is like, can we do like body doubling where like you and I both get on a Zoom and we talk about the projects we're working on and then we work on them in silence while we're like looking at each other. Like that's what I need. And I
yeah,
only have like maybe two independent consultant marketers that I think like me and work like me,
yeah,
and they're in different time zones. So
yeah.
it's like the possibility of it feels different for me right now in my career, but it's not something I'm not going to do in the future. Hello, cutie patootie. It's the
Just
green eyes,
going around my computer. So
as always. I love it. But yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. I think if you have a tribe of people, it makes it a lot easier to go off on your own, especially because you have people to bounce from.
yeah, and I will be friends with anyone. I have
I love
friends
that.
who are marketers, I have friends who are programmers. I have friends, so it's like depending on what I
Yeah,
call upon my tribe, I really
exactly.
do.
It's great. It's great. Okay, so as we kind of close our little chit chat today, which has been so fun, as I knew it would be, we'll probably have to have another one as you continue on this journey, and we'll do a part two. Do you have any advice to consultants or IT leaders who feel like they've kind of lost the faith in the tech transformation stuff going on, kind of like how you felt, where it's like, we're not being client first anymore? Like, what's your advice to someone who's sitting in a business right now thinking that?
Yeah, I mean, I think kind of the biggest problem that I see right now is like if you are feeling that way, then just say the stuff.
Use your words.
Like just use your words. Like I feel like a lot of us just because of all the crap that's gone on in like the world and the tech industry and everything else, everyone's just like so beat down.
Yep,
Like and we just want to like get through the day and it's like
exactly.
don't want to say something that's going
Like,
to,
what if I
like
get fired for what I'm about to say?
right. People genuinely and I get that. Like I get that people feel like I don't want to say this because what if I lose my job and I got to think about this and so much of what we see online it's like fear based of like
Totally.
the tech industry is completely
There's
falling apart
thousands of layoffs every single day.
and you're never going to work anywhere in tech again like I mean and it's like that's not true like it's just like
Yeah,
things are changing right so it's like they're probably not going to just let you go because you said, "Hey, I think we should do the right thing in this situation," or whatever.
exactly.
So just use your words, speak up. It's probably going to be fine, even if it's not like
But it'll
chances
be fine
are
with
you can't
you
control
inside.
it anyways, right? Like, I mean, if a company is going to have a massive layoff or something because the economy is bad, like you making that one comment and that one meeting probably wasn't the thing, right? Like
Probably not.
so just like speak up, use your voice, talk, and like if you feel like, hey, we've lost our way at this company or whatever, like say it,
Yeah,
like
yeah. I'm
and
a
if
big
you don't want to say it where you're working, feel free to reach out to me and I will listen, like
yes.
especially if you are a consultant, a marketer, anything like that, like I'll hear the story. Tell me the story anytime. Shoot me a message on LinkedIn.
I love that.
I'll listen to it and I'll write a funny story about it and change all the names later.
Exactly, exactly. Or better yet, I'll tell you what I would do in your situation and give you some advice. Because I
100%.
think that's part of it too, is
100%.
if you've never been the one speaking up in a meeting, it's scary to do it your first time. But
Right.
once you have, like, ask somebody who does it all the time. Like for me, I'm always speaking up in a meeting. You probably want
Right.
me to shut up more in a meeting if you're in them with me.
Like I am the person in the meetings that like everyone's like they want me to have my camera off because they know like they won't see the
I'm gonna be
facial
like,
reactions when I hear about it.
exactly.
I don't even have to use my voice. Sometimes my face says it all,
Yeah.
Like
That's one thing I've been working on is like trying to stone my face a little bit. I'm it's probably a terrible story to tell online. But I was in this group of marketers on a call and people were pitching ideas for speaking sessions. And there were a couple on there that I was like, we've been there, we've done that. And the whole time I was just like, because I'm like, I've said it before, I don't need to say it again, but maybe I do.
yeah.
It just, there's a time and place for all of it. And it's so interesting trying to figure that part out of it all. But when in doubt, say it out loud. That's my motto in life in general.
Yeah, and like and also like I know it's scary. Like it's never usually scary for me to say stuff like in meetings or on Zooms or things. It was definitely scary though, like the first time I hit publish on the Medium
Oh,
article,
for
I
sure.
was like shaking and then I slammed my laptop down and was like, "Oh my
Go
god."
take a run, like go leave the house for the whole day.
And I was like, "What if somebody takes it the wrong way?" And then I was
Yeah.
like,
And it's
"What am
like,
I
if
going
they
to do?"
take it the wrong way, it's on them, not me.
Yeah.
But to get there mentally is a hurdle as well. Like I
Yeah.
did the same thing when I launched my podcast. I recorded my first episode twice. Once when I was talking how I wanted to, and then the second time when I was like trying to be more polished. And
Yeah.
I was like, no, I have to publish the first one, don't I? I'm like, oh God, I'm gonna do the first one. And I like publish it. I immediately like I tell like 5 people, like, and then my family. And overnight I had like 600 listens to it. And I'm like, I don't even know 600 people. And then I was like, okay, still to this day, that's the one that gets listened to the most,
Yeah.
which I love because it's like my vulnerability and me just being like, here's what I actually believe in as a marketer. And if you don't vibe with it, you don't vibe with me. And it's me like coming out as Ambush on Air, basically,
Right.
you know?
Right.
But it was scary to do it the first time is always the scariest time. But I feel like the best parts of my life have been when I lean past the fear and just go do it.
Yeah.
Shut up and be about being scared and go do it.
Yeah, just do the thing.
Do the
Just
thing.
do it.
Do the
Yeah.
thing.
Do
Because you're
it.
going to regret not doing the thing even days later.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it. Okay, the next tattoo I get is do the thing.
Do the thing.
I don't need much reason to get a tattoo, just an idea. So maybe I'll go get it today.
Yeah, just do.
I love it. I love it. Okay, any parting words, final thoughts?
No, other than just thank you
Thank
again.
you.
And I love listening to your podcast.
I appreciate you.
And hopefully I get to come on again and
Yeah.
we'll catch up more. Anytime you need community and someone to bounce things off of, feel free. I'll tell you, buy a fascia roller free or something. Like, I don't know, you know.
Yes, that was very helpful. And like I said, it's coming today. But thank you so much for coming on today. It's been so fun. I knew it would be a fun chat. We didn't even go off script. I only asked one question that was on the list, which is what I love. I prefer. So I thank you so much for being flexible conversationalist with me today. And congratulations on stepping out on your own and speaking your truth. I know it takes a lot of courage. So I'm very proud of you.
Thank you, Sam. I
You're
really
welcome.
appreciate it.
You're welcome. And thanks to you guys for listening today. And as always, party on, Ambush.